Good morning, everyone. I hope you guys are all having a blessed day. Mine's going really good. It's actually nice out here this morning. I got a little bit of work going on. They're changing the park, the playground at the park. The park is like, I could actually throw a rock and almost hit it, but they're taking out the old playground, putting in the new. So listen, I wanted to talk to you today about prayer, and mainly praying for our leaders. And people, that's difficult because most of us, you and me included, we can't stand the sight of them. I mean, our leaders are really, they're bad. So listen, we're going to take a look at 1 Timothy 2, 1 and 2. And Paul's telling Timothy, I exhort thee therefore that first of all supplication, prayers, intercessions, and giving of thanks be made for all men, for kings and for all that are in authority, that we may lead a quiet and peaceful life in all godliness and honesty. The area in most Christians' life that needs improvement is their prayer life. Everyone's prayer life could use improvement. Mine especially. People, if I was to mention one place in my entire Christian walk that I need to work on the most, it's my prayer life. And I find it very easy to pray for those that are close to me. Family, friends, things that are going on in my neighborhood. I find it easy to pray for those people. But I find it very difficult to pray for people that I don't like. And our government officials, I don't like these people. Timothy was in authority in that church. And Paul told him he's to pray for all men. All men. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Look at your own prayer life. Look at your own prayer life and answer this question. Who's in? Who do I pray for? And who's out? Who do I not like that I don't pray for? People, that's a loaded question. I mean, if there's people that you don't pray for because you don't like, then you're like me and you have to work on that. So this is what I found out that helps me. The best way to pray for people is when they come into your mind. Whenever you start thinking about them, sometimes there's a reason. Somebody planted that thought in your head that person needs prayer. But I find the best way to pray for people is when all of a sudden I'll just think about somebody I hadn't thought about in a long time, and I'll think about them and I'll instantly stop and ask the Lord to put a hedge of protection around them, to bless them, keep them healthy, and mainly that they will draw closer to the Lord. But I pray for people when I think about them. There are several areas that you need to touch on in your daily prayer life. First of all, your home. Wherever you live, you need to pray. You need to lay your hand on that structure and you need to pray over that structure. You need to pray over your yard. You need to ask the Lord to keep your family safe and that He will put a hedge of protection all the way around your property and keep you safe. And people, listen, when you pray for a hedge of protection, don't be worried about the little things that happen. Just thank God for the big things that you don't even know He kept you from harm. I mean, there could have been an airplane going to come down and land on your house, and the Lord kept that from happening. But when you pray for a hedge of protection, the big things that God protects you from, you never even know that He protected you from. So always pray for a hedge of protection around your home. And the next one is, and this is the hardest, is when you're out and about. When you're out and about doing your little chores, running your little errands. Pray for those people you encounter. If you encounter somebody with a bad attitude in a store, you see someone like arguing with a checker or whatever, just sit back and pray for that person, that the Lord would bring peace to their life. Also, whenever you see a homeless person, and people, I know that we all, depending on how many homeless are in your area, people get a little bit upset about the trash and everything else, but people, listen, we need to pray for these people. Pray for the homeless. And last of all, when you're out and about, pray for the bad drivers, people that cut you off, for all the turkeys that are out there driving around. So pray for your home. Pray for the people you encounter, those with a bad attitude, the homeless and bad drivers. Pray for all of them. And last of all, people, listen. You need to pray when you enter someone's house. Luke 10:5-6 says, "And into whatsoever house ye enter, first say, Peace be unto this house. And if a son of peace be there, your peace will rest upon it. If not, it shall return to you again." People, listen. You absolutely, when you go to someone's house, right before you ring that doorbell, place your hand on that door and say, Heavenly Father, I pray for this house. I pray for a hedge of protection around it. I pray that everybody in it will come to know you. And Lord, I come against any evil forces. People, you can absolutely bless an entire family. You need to pray for other people's houses when you enter them. And the last one is the one I find the hardest, and that is praying for the leaders in government. Paul told Timothy, pray for all those that are in authority, that we may lead a quiet and peaceful life. Well, people, the only way that I can pray for the government is I have to separate the people from the government. In other words, I separate all the people, the governors, the president, his whole cabinet, all the people that are associated with government. And I pray that the Lord, that revival will break out in Washington. I ask the Lord all the time that He would bless those Christians that are in Washington to help them to witness. I pray for those in my own state capital. I pray for the souls of all these ruthless, evil, demonic people that are running this government. And they are absolutely the scum of the earth. But I pray for their souls, because every one of them are children of God. But I pray that God would frustrate the plans of the government, that all these evil plans that they have for us, like these 87,000 IRS agents, I pray that God will frustrate their plans. And people, listen, when you watch the news every night, all I see is God frustrating the plans of the wicked. So pray for the individuals, but also pray for the government, that God would frustrate their plans. You know, one lady that comes to mind is Maxine Waters. I don't know if you guys know. I don't even remember if is she a senator or a congressperson. But every time you see her, she's got the most demonic scowl on her face. I honestly believe the woman is possessed. She's the one that told people that anytime you see any Trump supporters with a mega hat on or anything like that in a restaurant, you walk up and start screaming at them and tell them to get out. You're not welcome here. That's a leader? I'm telling you, most of these people have got a demonic infestation in them. But I pray for the soul, even though I don't like the person. I pray for the soul, and I pray that God would save them. And I also pray that God would frustrate all their plans. People, listen. Your prayer life is very, very important. So what I want you to remember is, friends and family, whenever anybody comes to mind, pray for that person right then. And when you're out and about, pray for the homeless, pray for the people with a bad attitude, pray for the bad drivers, and mainly pray for people's houses. People, prayer changes things. It always has. Anyhow, I just want to give you something to think about. Heaven or hell, you choose. Just remember, once you take your last breath, it's a done deal.